Hello, my little crumpets, and welcome to episode 15 of the M&T podcast.
15.
You're about to hear Tiff's wonderful quick maths about what episode 15 means. But yeah, 15 episodes in.
We talk about a lot this week. We talk about therapy, we talk about the social dilemma, and we have your questions, which we very much appreciate. And we had some good conversation.
Really good questions and really good conversations. So,
as always, we would like you to do all the right things, like, subscribe, share, review on Apple Podcasts, please, and just let everyone know how hilarious and fabulous we are.
Wow, that is shameless, love.
I don't care.
Yeah. And if your question didn't get into this week's podcast, or if you're listening and you would like to get your question in, send them through at any point in the week. We will get them into next week's. Enjoy the episode, everybody.
See you in there.
Ciao.
Happy Saturday.
You know what time it is?
It's podcast time.
Episode 15.
Oh my goodness. That means we're halfway to 20. From 10.
Oh my God, what a great start. Literally,
From
everyone
10.
just went, not listening to this anymore.
Fine.
That means we're halfway.
I meant from 10. You know what I meant. You meant from...
I didn't until
meant
you
from
explained.
Megapod 1 to Megapod 2.
We have a landmark every 10.
Oh,
and
God.
you meant that we're halfway to our next landmark.
Yeah. I had a question which I have to ask right away.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's from Alice.
Okay.
And she said, are you drinking this week?
That's a great question, Alice. Thanks for asking it.
Yes!
Yes, we are drinking this week. Obviously, last week was a dry podcast. For those who are following our story, we're trying to be a little bit healthier.
I think I'm doing well.
But I think in the last week or so, we've agreed that actually it's not about just giving everything up. It's about finding balance.
And I love that people will just be like, yeah, well, you just wanted to get drunk.
Well, I think the compromise on this week's podcast is that we're doing the podcast a little later in the day than we usually would.
Yeah, we made a thing.
Because typically what happens on a Saturday, around mid-afternoon, we do the podcast, we drink a bottle of wine, and then we're like, we've got loads of the day ahead of us, let's go out, let's go do so. And then that turns into a lot of drinking. And
so
then,
this is now just like pre-dinner?
Yeah, so
this is
we're
fine.
having this, pre-dinner.
So yeah, this is Mateus, the original rosé. Do you have a reason for choosing this, or just because it says Matt on it?
So it is called the Mateus, I believe, not Matthias. Get cultured.
It's Portuguese.
Portuguese. Okay, so I now have multiple reasons why I've picked this wine.
Go.
First one, it does have the word Matt on it. I thought that was quite good. Second reason, in the shop today, they didn't have the biggest selection. This is €4 a bottle. So actually it's a little pricier compared to, well, not the Whispering Angel
I'm
weeks.
absolutely messing up this
You're
cork.
destroying the cork. Third reason, I think this is the I believe this is the brand of wine that I used to drink when I was at university.
Yeah, this is one of them.
It's very pink. I'm not sure it's the nicest flavour of wine, but at €4 you can't complain. Nice pop.
Thank you.
Good pop. And then, yes, my final reason is because you've just told me it's Portuguese. And, Wolves are very Portuguese at the moment. So
that English football team.
That English football team that is full of a lot of Portuguese players. Thank you so much.
I feel like it looks like a smaller bottle of wine just because of the shape, but it's not. It's a 750ml bottle.
Yeah. Does it have a good description that we've...
It is in Portuguese, and I don't even know where to start with that.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say it, but it says it goes with fish, pizza, pasta, sushi, salad, seafood,
what doesn't, though? Like
it's got a bunch of pictures on the back.
It's literally listed every food type. I love that every bottle of wine always says, good with food. Well, good.
Well, I think it's good without food. That's more fun.
Well, cheers, love.
Cheers.
Here's to another episode.
I've only had like one glass of wine this week.
I think we have generally been much better. I've had a couple of Canyas when we've been out working away from home.
So you had football on Monday, Canya Thursdays, Canya Fridays.
Yeah, so I did Tuesday, Wednesday.
Nailed it!
I am smashed
You
this
might have done
week.
Sunday too, actually.
Yeah.
Frizzante?
I think it might be Frizzante.
Does it say Frizzante?
Which means fizzy.
It is Frizzante. It's got bubbles.
Is Frizzante Portuguese for fizzy?
No, because Frizzante is Italian. Or French. No, Italian. But it's definitely a sparkling rosé. We don't need to look into it because I can taste it.
Well, it's actually not too bad, is it?
It is pleasant. I can see why this would be a pre-drink.
A pre?
At uni or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it used to be the cheapest bottle of rosé in Asda. I'm sure there's other options now. And I think the bottle used to be not quite as elegant as this.
I think you're thinking of a different bottle of wine, and I know which one it is. Is that JP Chesnay or something?
No, it's definitely had the word matte in it.
Are you
somewhere.
sure?
Absolutely
There
sure.
is another one. I'll try and find that one for next week.
Okay, nice.
That's a good idea.
You are on the wine selection next week. So I'm going to carry on with the theme that we started last week. How do you think my week has been?
Your week has been pretty chilled.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have done well to get in a couple of bike rides. I think you went out twice. And that's good for you, mentally, physically, whatever. But also, you've been doing Lavello stuff. And that's taken up quite a bit of time, which is good. It gives you something to do. And,
true.
Well, no, just something that, works your mind for a bit.
It's been really strange because... You're right, I have in the last couple of days sort of dived back into Lavello stuff. If anybody doesn't know, Lavello is a cycling brand that me and my good friend John Ashmore started up last year in Dubai. And pretty much, since we moved here, I just haven't touched it. I've just sort of let it be. Admittedly, John, don't sing.
You're just setting him up.
John also has just gone through a big move from Dubai to Ireland, and he's only just settling in his house. So neither of us is it on our radar at the moment. But it's just kind of naturally happened this week that I felt like I've wanted to dive back into it and get it reignited and get it started again. So it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it, actually, getting back into that.
I think what you need to do with that, because that's basically been your... I think you need to set your time. Because you could get lost in a whole day when there's other things to do as well. So
like
maybe
making you lunch and doing the gardening.
Yeah. I don't want
you don't want me to forget.
I don't want you to neglect the housework. So if you set yourself...
So it's great that you found something, but don't do too much.
Yeah. So what you should do is in the morning, make the vlog, do Lavello, and then...
make you lunch.
And then make lunch, and then go for a bike ride, and then come back and do gardening.
Okay, I mean that's
not a bad day.
It's a decent routine, isn't it?
Yeah, you said you wanted some routine.
I do. I like a bit of routine.
Doesn't have to be set, but
no.
I think you should go have some morning rides.
Yeah,
That'd
it's
be
weird
lovely.
that morning rides were all I did in the UAE, but that was more of a temperature thing. Whereas here, I just don't feel inspired to get up and ride at sunrise. My life has already become much later.
Yeah,
living here.
You get up
9ish.
Yeah, 9ish with no hangover, so that's good.
Which is lovely.
9ish, and then you potter about for a bit, and then you make a vlog, make lunch.
Life's
do
good
some
at the
things.
moment. Life's good.
Yeah. I like that you think that.
Yeah.
How's my week been?
I think yours has been a very positive week. I think you've been very busy. I think that it's been really good for you to be monitoring your time a little bit more. I think we started talking about that last week on the podcast. We sort of introduced the idea of
monitoring on Monday.
From Monday. So you've been focusing on your sort of work-life balance, because it's very hard to do that when you work from home and you are the manager of your own time. But I think that's been really, really good for you. I think you're starting to find a bit more balance and know how you are in control of how you feel each day with your workload. You went and had therapy this week.
I did, hypnotherapy, and I did want to get into that a bit because
we'll talk about that. I've written that down as a thing I think we should speak about.
Did that.
And I think that was a really real positive for you, for considering we were a little cynical and a little sort of dubious about whether it would be any good, whether you actually get anything out of it. But I mean, regardless whether hypnotherapy works or not, I feel as if the experience of doing it has been positive for you.
Yeah.
I think you're pleased that you've gone a week with only a single glass of wine, and I think you're feeling really good and positive as well.
Check us out.
Yeah, good week.
Yeah, it has been a good week.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I think my brain has to... my brain goes round in circles sometimes if I go, oh yeah, actually I've had a couple of evenings where I maybe finished earlier than I would have done, and we've gone somewhere, like we did a sunset, we went to football, we got a car this week.
We did.
We didn't even mention
the fact that we bought a car
and
this
then
week.
So sometimes I have to really sit and think, well, actually, it's not bad that I finished at whatever time that day instead of 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Because looking at the tracking at the end of the week, I've still done
you've had a big
heavy week of work.
Yeah.
And on the day, I feel guilty. But looking back today, when I've looked at the graph of my time, I'm actually like, well, actually, no.
Yeah.
So I have to realise that on the day. And I think like this whole, with the therapy and with the hypnotherapy and stuff, that's helping me recognise my thoughts and kind of, and not just like throw them away and like kind of, that was something we went through, which I think resonated a little bit.
I know it's weird, but you had the hypnotherapy, yesterday afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did,
I think I can already see...
I was going to ask you, but like in private.
Well, no, we're doing this on the podcast. I can recognise just a little bit that you seem a little bit more like kind of in control of your thoughts.
Clarity?
Yeah, there's a bit more...
We talked about
let's
that.
put it out there. You saw a spider last night and you didn't freak out.
Yeah, and that was
you still didn't like
Let's talk
it.
about hypnotherapy.
Okay, let's go into the hypnotherapy.
Because this is where it's getting
basically it was born out of the fact that you have an absolute phobia of spiders.
Yes.
A picture of one, the thought of one, someone pretending to hold one is enough to make you cry and run away. I mean,
hi, Matt's mum.
Yeah. Mum will never forget, and we'll never let her forget.
It was like 6 years ago.
Yes. And so, like, spiders have not been a joke. So, fast forward, and you should talk a little bit about how the therapy was. But last night, you saw a spider. Not a small spider.
No,
it was significantly
like a money
sized
spider. It was like, I reckon... if it was
a 50p, bigger than a 50p,
slightly bigger than a 50p, and I know people will be like,
but it was.
But like for me,
it probably had legs.
But it's like that's like a forest spider.
Yeah,
it's like the big ugly ones that are like big chunky legs.
But what I saw from you was not the oh my god, I'm going to freak out, I need to run away, and I'm in sweats and I'm crying. It was a
logical
Matt,
front brain.
I think I've seen a spider, and I'm okay with the fact that you're never going to be a fan of them. You're not going to get a pet tarantula.
No.
But even then, there was sort of a bit more of a logical, okay, there's a spider here, I don't like it, but I can deal with it.
And that was the whole thing. Obviously, when I went in to see this hypnotherapist, we talked a lot about the mind to begin. It's not like I sit there and like, that's it, like we're straight into the session. She explained a lot about the mind and that the logical front bit of your brain is 6% of your brain, whereas the factory, where everything gets stored, every thought, 60,000 thoughts you have in a day go in there.
And that's, I think,
that's scary.
If I'm right in saying that, the front bit of our brain as humans is the newest bit. We've evolved to get that, so it's still relatively young and learning, and it can easily be overpowered by the bit of our brain that's millions of years old, which is that sort of just reaction to things and holds information, and you don't really know what to do with it.
So that information is all there. So every bit of trauma, sadness, negative thought, positive thought, everything that's ever happened is still in there. Your front brain can't compute that because it's just like your reception desk.
Yeah.
But your back brain is just storing it. So basically my session yesterday was going in and having a little clear up, sorting out the filing system and throwing bits away, basically.
Nice. Good
if
metaphor.
You want to put it in like a visual. So we spoke about, at the very beginning of the session, we spoke about what I wanted to get out of hypnotherapy. Firstly, the arachnophobia, obviously. And then I just mentioned 2 other things, and I was just like, more balance in my life in general, whether that be with alcohol, food, friends and family, feeling guilty about working too much, things like that. And then the third thing, I think I had those 2 combined, that second point. So it was all about like that kind of thing, and just kind of living a more balanced life and not feeling guilty about one way or another. If I took a whole day away from my phone, not feeling guilty about the fact that I'd maybe not seen an email on a weekend when it doesn't matter anyway. And the negative thoughts of looking in the mirror, maybe being a bit bigger than I used to be, like moving all of those aside. So we went into the session. I was very much conscious the whole time. I've had I had an eye mask on, eyes closed. I could hear her talking, gongs and everything. Like, you can hear it, and you just go into a state of like deep relaxation. Some people go under, some people don't. It's a thing. Like, you could be completely awake the entire time. And I could talk about this forever. But basically, she took me to a happy place. She basically took me to a beach in the Maldives, and I put through all my worries and things onto a boat. And you visualize it all. If you don't see it, it's fine, but if you can visualize it, yes. I threw all of these things onto a boat, and that was the kind of the big bit of the session. Throwing things onto that boat, really concentrating on what you're throwing on, giving multiple chances to throw things on. So it was a long chunk, and then watching it float away. And over the horizon, and it's gone forever, and we're just getting rid of worries and negative thoughts. And then we talked about clarity and about being more conscious about your thoughts, so not just kind of thinking something and throwing it away. So like the tiniest thing, like looking in the mirror and going, I look fat, or whatever, any thought, actually thinking, well, no, you don't, and like, you just get a bit more like
having a bit more of
rational with yourself.
I mean, it's almost like having a bit more of an internal conversation with yourself. And not just letting the first voice that comes up be the overpowering.
Exactly
voice, right?
that.
I remember when I did therapy, over a year ago now, and I was seeing a therapist in Dubai. It was a sort of similar stuff of, it is almost that when you're at your weakest or your most vulnerable, that voice in your head can just be completely overpowering. And for me, that's what was happening. And I remember there being a session where it was sort of like, just try and have a conversation with this person in your head. And if you have to have that conversation out loud, do it. Because again, it was sort of the things that I was having was like the straw that broke the camel's back. The tiniest thing can push you into all of a sudden everything feeling like it's the end of the world. And it's about taking
really
a moment to breathe and have that chat with yourself to go, I don't like this, but I can deal with this.
And it was really interesting because when we came out of it, we discussed like what I saw, and she was like, I discussed it with her, and she was like, okay, that's really cool. Like, certain aspects were really, really good. Like, she kept saying fear over and over again, and she'd never say the word spider. It was like, we'll get rid of that phobia, we'll get rid of that fear. And I think I threw 4 spiders onto the boat, because she started off saying fear and stuff at the beginning, so I had this little spider in a bubble that I threw onto the boat, but obviously didn't want to touch the spider.
So it was in a bubble.
It was in a bubble. And then that went in, and then she kept saying it alongside other things, so I threw another one in for like luck. and then she said phobia, and I was like, oh, she wasn't even talking about spiders the first 3 times. So I threw a massive one,
full Harry Potter stuff.
I did, that was the one. I threw that one in, and I could see it like walking around the boat. It filled the whole, like the front of the boat. You know, the pointy bit. Just the front. I saw like a pirate ship, basically.
Of course you did.
But it filled the front, and I could see it walking around the deck and everything like that. And I just kept seeing it there with all of these other things. And then just watching it float away. Watching it, float. Boats float.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to.
I was thinking about, like, then I was thinking, like, Peter Pan, and, like, it floats in the sky, but that's not real.
No, they float on water as well, love. That's kind of the idea.
And I have noticed in the past 24 hours that I have, had different thoughts and different kind of... And it's good that you say you notice. I did want to ask you, but I didn't want you to have to, like...
These little things I can already see. It might be a full coincidence, so I'm not going to say that this thing is
I'm
just
going to go
incredible.
back though.
Yeah, and I think you should. But yeah, even like when we have had a conversation today about workload, you seem in a much happier place to go, do you know what? I'm getting this work done and I can balance it with this, and that's okay because it means I know that if I work hard now, I can enjoy this later. And in previous weeks, it's been my work is too much and I'm overloaded and there's no way that I can spend the evening with you. I'm sorry, but my work, and it's like
it's a different
it's a bit
tone
different.
of voice.
Yeah,
very cool. Sorry that's like 20 minutes of a podcast, but I found it really interesting.
Do you know what though? I think if anybody's listening and is anywhere near as skeptical or cynical about what therapy can do, we are two people equally as cynical and about those sorts of things. We've both had different types of therapy and both can speak very positively about it.
Yeah, obviously with hypnotherapy, like there's like crazy people out there that say they're a hypnotherapist and not. Like hypnotherapy is different to therapy.
Yeah. Well, mine was a certified doctor.
I only went to this one because she was highly recommended from 6 or 7 people on the island. So I was just like, how can all of these people be fixed by a hypnotherapist? And so that's why I went. And she was lovely.
Finish your wine, love.
Crack on.
You've been talking so long, we've finished our wine.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that's gone well.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it, and I will go back next week.
And I think we should keep the conversation going. I'm sure people are interested in.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to my sister; she's really interested in it and stuff. So yeah, I think people would be.
I think there's far less of a stigma attached to it now.
Also, we're on Ibiza.
We're in Ibiza,
and I could go to gong therapy, and people would be fine with it.
Yeah, I joked yesterday that you probably end up rubbing gems and
crystals
rocks on
my face. People charge crystals here quite a lot. I've seen them.
You put them out in the sun, right?
Yeah, charge them.
To charge them.
Yeah, solar powered. I always say I'm solar powered.
My sister is definitely solar powered.
Yeah, so that's a thing, just in crystals.
Interesting. Another thing I wanted to talk about. We're getting quite deep this week.
I like it.
We have literally just watched Social Dilemma.
Half an hour
ago we finished watching Social Dilemma. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, although it is kind of trending, it is everywhere right now. It is a Netflix documentary about social media, basically, and how clever it is and the effect it's sort of having on people.
And we are currently recording something that goes over 4 different social media sites.
I know, so I think it's interesting for us to discuss because I think it's very easy when you watch these sorts of things to go, social media is terrible and don't use it. Ironically, I found it because it was like promoted on social media. And it's for those who haven't watched it, we're not going to sort of spoil it. It is worth watching. But I think we take those sorts of documentaries with a pinch of salt, I would say.
Well, yeah, because those kind of documentaries are very heavily one-sided. But also, there was a documentary about the election being rigged a couple of years ago, maybe
the big hoax or something
about a hoax, yeah. And that was the same thing, talking about the same thing and how you're directed in one way based on your social media. This one went a lot more in depth about how they use you, your likes, your friends, and your location and blah, 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 blah.
I really liked sort of the insight that it gave about as users of social media, you are the product.
Yeah.
So if you think that you're getting something for free, it's because you are the product. So Facebook, for example, make lots of money from advertisers, and what they're selling is you and your attention. And I think it's really interesting to see that. What I think, though, as I'm watching it, is that as long as you know that and you're aware of it, if you're okay with it, keep using social media. Just be aware. And I think most people are now. There are algorithms out there set to sort of advertise to you. It doesn't mean you have to buy things.
No. And I think throughout watching it, I was thinking about Ibiza especially, and about the very big divide on people wearing masks and 5G and stuff like that. Because there are those type of people here, and that's absolutely fine. You do you. But I see both sides on Facebook. It's not like I'm ever pulled into the 5Gers and anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers, I was really thinking about my Facebook feed as I watched it, and I was like, well, actually, I do see both sides. I don't feel like, but I also think, and we've said this before about social media, if you are kind of more strong-minded in yourself, and you have opinions for yourself.
It's about being a person who can see both sides of the argument and potentially agree with parts of both sides and go, fair enough what you're saying, fair enough what you're saying, but this is my opinion. But yeah, it's about those people who are susceptible, who maybe...
That's what I was going to say.
Good word. Sorry that I stole it from you. But no, we talked about it the other day, didn't we, about the mask thing. And it can be really easy that when you look at social media, you see the loud people. And loud people are usually always at one end of the spectrum. Someone who's right in the middle, who doesn't really care whether you wear a mask or you don't wear a mask, or there's an algorithm that's watching me or there isn't. Those people don't post about it. They don't make videos about it. They don't scream and shout about it. But the people who strongly believe in one of the other, either side, they can end up filling up your timeline, which can then influence you. And I think you need to, as long as you know someone else's opinion doesn't need to become yours, then you're okay on social media, but not the whole world.
I see this on the Ibiza forum.
Oh, I bet you do.
It's just one thread at the moment. There's a coronavirus thread, and it started at the very beginning, and there's one particular forum member that has really strong views, and that's fine, I read them. But what's been happening and what the argument is that person is the only one speaking out with that view, and potentially there's loads of people on the forum. Like I don't talk on the coronavirus thread because I don't know anything. I did put Dubai updates in there while we were there, but now I just don't. But that's the only person talking with that view, and basically they got kind of attacked a little the other day about their view, and there were just, there was some mean words said. The admins took it all down, so it's all okay now, and there was a discussion about it. But that's the only, and they rightly said, I'm the only person saying this stuff, but there's probably other people on the forum that think this but don't want to say it because they're going to get attacked. But the other person is fine to have these debates and conversations and maybe escalates a little. So the loud people get heard, and that was a perfect example of that. So I find that quite interesting. But you know what? Social media pays my wages.
Well, exactly.
Bought this wine,
and it's the reason why you're watching or listening to us now. So we're not going to quit our social medias at all.
I'm okay with it.
And honestly, watching the documentary, you may have the thought every now and again of, oh, maybe I should close down. But then again, if you do that, you're again going to the extreme of going, I am anti-social media. But just use it in a way that you enjoy. Keep yourself safe and know what your security is and stuff.
Don't join any extreme groups.
Yeah.
And also, you're still affected by it because everybody around you is still using it. So therefore, nothing is going to change, just you doing it. I get it, one person can start a whole thing, but if you're the only one quitting Facebook,
you're not making any difference. Are you?
But I do want to be better, and I did discuss this. I want to be better just on my phone in general when we're out with people or at the dinner table or whatever. We took our phones out of our bedroom this week before even watching the program.
This week we
did it in Dubai.
Yeah,
and it was so good.
We don't take our phones to bed
in the bedroom at all.
No, so
you stay in the office.
Yeah, and I think that's a one small thing that I think that more people could do. Like you're saying, you're never going to get everybody getting off of social media, but you could get quite a lot of people not using it as much as they are.
I think you see those pictures on Facebook. Do you know when it's like a cartoon of the couple laying in bed looking at their phones
back
facing
to back,
opposite,
yeah.
And that makes me really sad, and so I don't ever want that. And so we had it in Dubai, and I think I asked to do it in Dubai, and then this week I've gone, right, I think we just need to do that again. And I'm really
we've done it for 2 or 3 nights, and I would say they're probably the best night's sleep we've had as well.
Exactly, that's really true. Best night's sleep as well. Weird.
But another thing I would like to introduce is that we don't have them at the dinner table.
Yeah, that's a good idea because I'm
whether
bad.
we're eating in or eating out.
If it vibrates and I'm just like, oh, what's going on?
Whether you're eating in, eating out.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a good
keeping
idea.
phones away from the dinner table, because then that is just, it's not that long, and you should be okay with not checking your notifications or flicking through whatever you're flicking through for that amount of time.
Conversation?
Yeah, have a conversation and eat your meal. Speaking of meals, we had a wonderful meal today.
Oh, were you happy with that? I'm so
happy.
happy you were happy with that.
If you've watched our vlogs, you'll already know what I'm talking about. We had a full English breakfast on the barbecue. All barbecued from start to finish today.
Lovely. Hash browns, sausages, bacon, eggs, beans, toast, happiness.
So good. We were going to have Bloody Marys, but we don't have vodka in the house.
No, that's true. And also, we didn't want to start drinking that early. Because again, you literally have a coaster.
Sorry.
My God. Just put it straight on the table next to the coaster.
This is what I have to live with, folks.
Oh dear. No Bloody Marys because, don't want to start drinking at 12 o'clock on a Saturday because that's the weekend gone.
I think as we go further into sort of autumn and into winter, and we say this every week, Ibiza feels like it's on the wind down. I think we're going to find good balance.
Yeah.
Because temptation isn't really there, and it's good. I'm feeling really positive and enthused about the coming weeks and months.
I'm feeling really positive about it, and balance needs to be a thing that we just kind of take forward as our little mantra. Yeah. Of
because it can all be. I mean, we've lived in Dubai and we've lived here. Both notoriously all or nothing places to live.
That is true, actually.
It's everything or it's nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that a healthy thing for us to do is to try and find that balance.
We're going for a sunset hike tomorrow.
We are. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Really, really lovely. Right? I don't want to dwell on this one. This one came from Jade. I'm going to get into
what questions?
I'm getting into unless you've got any other topics to talk about.
No, I wanted to talk about therapy and social dilemma.
Well, then that's what we've done.
How deep?
My little sister messaged me this morning, and she said that her partner, Carl, hi guys, I know they watch they're watchers. They're watchers. Carl feels the need to announce every time he goes to the toilet.
Okay.
I don't want to dwell on this conversation, by the way. Okay. I don't know why he feels the need to tell me. This is like a Dear Deirdre, isn't it? Nevertheless, he continues to do so because he's now got a reaction from me. I think that's the main point there. Do you and Matt have any weird and wonderful, annoying things you do to each other? Or you do in-house? Do I have an annoying habit?
We spend all day annoying each other.
For funsies.
I really like poking you in the face.
Oh, you do it all the time.
All the time.
No, in the ribs.
And in the ribs.
I hate it.
I like to just
If I could stop,
and when I squeeze your knee as well.
Yeah, I vetoed that though.
Yeah, that
2 years ago.
You actually played a wife card on that one, and was
did.
like some of these I can take a sort of playful little husband-wife thing.
I can't.
The knee thing, you're like, just don't do that.
Yeah, that is a wife card that I have played. So that's a
I
good
would
one.
say, the annoying things I like to annoy you, basically because I just like your attention.
You're like a puppy.
I am like a child. And so I'm like, we haven't said anything for a while, so I'm just going to poke her in the face.
Yes, that is what you do, actually.
Yeah.
What do I do to you? I don't think I annoy you.
No, you don't really.
Perfect wife, right here.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Oh, I'll tell you what, though.
Oh, here we go. Just get the scroll out.
I get fucking livid with you.
That's the first word
when you sneeze loudly.
I do it on purpose.
Sneeze quietly, bless you. Sneeze at a normal level, bless you. Sneeze loud, fuck you. But honestly, sometimes your sneezes, I swear, you've taken a big deep breath so that you can put as much emphasis and volume behind this sneeze as you possibly can. And you fucking give it some, and it's awful, and I hate it.
That's my lack of balance, because I either silent sneeze or I loud sneeze.
It's suddenly all making sense, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
You're just fucked up. Including the way you sneeze.
My type anus is getting at me. I need to stop letting that get at me.
I can understand why Carl does announce,
Oh yeah, back to that.
I can understand that, because I do think it's a little weird if you're sat in a room and someone just stands up and walks out. Like,
yeah, but you don't know. But I
but the
think
thing
he
is-
announces it in a certain way.
I'm sure he does. But if someone just stands up and walks out, there is always the potential that people can go, where the fuck's he going? Everybody really knows where you're going, don't they? But just in case they don't, you go, just going to,
See a man about a dog?
just going to go drop the kids off at the pool.
No, I hate that.
Oh, okay.
That's terrible. We don't talk about this.
No, so
We're
this is what I was
private
going to say.
toilet goers.
We've never announced.
No, we're
We're
private.
not
toilet-
announcers.
No, I'd just go.
Just go.
Just-
Do your thing. Carl, you're weird, man.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Carl, you're
Jade,
weird.
stop giving him a reaction.
Yeah, stop reacting to
If
it.
you stop reacting...
Do you know when do you know when a dog's being bad and you just have to ignore it so it stops?
Yeah.
That's what you got to do with Carl.
Yeah. Stop acknowledging the fact that he's going for a shit.
It's like when a kid's like swearing or something, you're not
Oh,
supposed to ignore
but
it.
when kids
It's
swear,
so funny.
like I'm.
Fuck you!
But the thing is, we're
I wouldn't cry.
Auntie Tiff and Uncle Matt. We're allowed to react. I swear to God. The next time, or I say the next time, the first time I hear any of our nieces or nephews go, "Oh fuck this," I am going to die with laughter.
Who will it be? Who's the first kid to swear?
Quinn,
Oh, true.
if she hasn't already.
Or
which I'm-
Ari.
Ari or Quinn. Ari and Quinn would get on really well.
Yeah.
They'd just fuck things up.
They
would
would
just be
turn-
couple of little
They
whirlwinds.
just flip tables and walk out.
Yeah,
I love it.
God bless them.
Funny.
But kids swearing, I can't.
It
ignore
is
that.
funny. It's like okay, Jade loves when people fall over. Do you know what's the Jeremy Beadle did? You get £250.
You've been framed.
Jade, and you've been framed. Just put if she needs therapy, that's all she needs.
So I'll tell you one of the things that we get asked this question a fair bit. What do I miss most about Dubai?
You've been framed?
No, bear with me. The thing I miss most about Dubai is that I used to work in a place that had glass walls on both sides of the building. And one of my most favourite things, and this is when I was a terrible manager, is that I could not stop laughing when inevitably a tourist walks into a window. The
There's
amazing
stickers
thing is,
on the window.
we put stickers on the window, it doesn't matter. Usually because someone's on their phone or they're blinded by the Dubai sunlight. But you would always, inevitably, you'd hear the sound before you saw. So you'd hear this
Because it like
dong.
because it dongs.
Because it's a big glass panel. And yeah, we would see people. We've had people honestly that there was blood. We would have people that maybe fractured a nose or like almost were a bit concussed because they've gone directly into a solid glass wall. And my job was to be professional at that point, and I can't.
You are a professional.
That I would lose it. I'd be like, someone else needs to deal with this because I'd need to go and have a quick little laugh to myself.
Nice. That's a good one. How many questions do you have this week?
Not a huge amount.
I dived in. I've got 4 more.
I've got 3, so you go.
Okay, I'll go again. Michelle from Cafe DM asks, do you wear blue light glasses?
Well, Michelle from Cafe DM and other brands, I have started
Unconditional
to.
Love Fitness.
Unconditional Love Fitness as well, yes. I do, yes. So, in Dubai, had an eye test and did actually get a prescription for glasses. I think it was more to do with either sort of like my level of tiredness or the amount of time I spent on screens.
Because stress.
Could have been, because I don't need them now. I haven't worn those glasses for a while, but they were blue light glasses. So as well as my prescription. So I had the lenses with that on, and I did think that they were really good. Then we moved here and I haven't used my glasses at all. But then this week you bought 3 more pairs. You already have 2. 3 more pairs of blue light glasses.
One for every day of the working week.
Wonderful. With no prescription. And yeah, I've kind of claimed one of those.
It's because I see a real difference. If I forget
It's good.
to put them on, I feel my eyes feel tired. I feel more exhausted at the end of the day. But even if I don't put them on in the morning, by lunchtime I feel tired. Like my eyes feel tired from staring at screens. If I put them on, I can work for 14 hours. Like I can do a really long day. But yeah, I've actually noticed a real difference, and there's no prescription. They're just blue light glasses. I got them from Amazon, and I love wearing them. So if anybody listening is in front of a screen, try them. You can get a pair for like £5.
They're really cheap, aren't they? Yeah, because they're not a prescription.
I got 3 pairs for €20 off Amazon.
They literally just filter out screen blue light, which, apparently isn't that good for you.
Find a pair that's comfortable. Find a pair that you're happy with.
So yeah, I basically commandeered one of
fine,
Tiff's pairs this week, and I've used them today when I've been in front of the computer. And yeah, I did swear by them when I had mine in Dubai, and you do here. So massively recommend them.
Yeah.
They're good.
I'm going to go for the second question from Michelle.
No. Oh, there's a second from Michelle? Because I have one from Michelle as well.
Just a quick one from Michelle.
God, Michelle got 3 questions in.
I don't know whether you can answer this now. Can you recommend a reasonable price mountain bike for Ibiza? You might need to do some research.
I would probably want to do some research because I was
supposed to tell you about this yesterday.
I'm not a mountain biker. I don't mountain bike. But Michelle, leave it with me, and I will have a look into what I think would be good prices. Mountain biking is massive in Ibiza, more so than road biking, which is what I do. So there's definitely going to be options and a variety of different sort of price points and things available. There's a couple of places in Sant'Olaria that I know that have some. So.
True. I've got a quick question for myself. Would you like some more wine?
Oh, yes. Si bale. And while you're pouring that, my question from Michelle, 3 questions in 1 week. Taking the piss, love.
No, it's good. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, that's what I mean. She wants to know what your... And I think this is an interesting question. I'm interested to see how you answer. What's your favourite clothing brand? And that's what I expected. I expected silence because you're right now thinking, God, do I know any clothing brands?
Do you know what I'm thinking? Does Gymshark count? Can gym clothing companies count? As in the gym clothing company. Could they count?
I think you're going to have to go with Gymshark, aren't you?
Or Gymshark or gym clothing company.
Do you know what? You could have gone with Lavello, but you didn't do it, did you?
That's not a clothing brand. That's cycling apparel. That's very niche. I can't wear that out.
You could try.
I could try. I am a terrible clothes shopper. I buy from places like Shein and H&M and like Pull & Bear.
I think that's good though because...
This leads on, got excited then.
Go for it.
This leads on to the fact that I want to change my style now that I live in Ibiza.
Yes.
And that I just want to go to hippie markets and buy dresses.
Yes.
That's what I want to do.
You've said that since we moved here and we've been here 10 weeks.
And now all the hippie markets are closed. I nearly called it a Mickey market.
A Mickey market? Oh, we're drinking wine on this podcast, aren't we?
I want to have a much more bohemian style.
I think you get to a point here where you kind of just want stuff that you feel comfortable in.
My wardrobe's horrendous. I can't wear anything.
Your wardrobe's full of lovely things if you were going to Dubai brunches.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I've done for the past 5 years.
I know. But we've said this before, like our delivery's going to get here. Still not here, by the way. And there's going to be more clothes in there that I don't need.
Exactly.
And
we'll donate. We'll be good people.
We're going to have to do a fair bit of donating.
Clothing brand. Right now, I think the closest, if it was high street, would be Pull & Bear. I like Pull & Bear, but I do just want to get more hippie. And
neither of us...
Also, local companies support the local...
Yeah. Neither of us have ever been big suckers for big brands, have we?
No, and I do want to get... Like, you have your Primark, like, basics, which I feel bad about, because, like, fast fashion and all of that. But
you can't argue with £3 for 8 pairs of socks.
25 pairs of socks.
25, 8, same.
So I just want to get more hippie-ish and more island-like and contribute to the local economy and do all that.
Lovely.
That's a good question, actually.
I now have 3 questions.
I know, because I've seen what came through.
So how many do you have?
Well, I have 2 because I'll leave the other one to you.
So this one came in last week, not long after we finished the podcast. This seems to happen every week. And I did say at the time that it came through, this is going to give me anxiety for the week.
Oh, that was a good one.
Sunday route.
Do you want to
Yeah. Sunday roast and a stay at Pike's.
This is a would you rather, by the way.
Or a chicken pitta and Patrick Nazemi at Ibiza Rocks Bar.
So your choices are a Sunday roast
at Pike's.
And
a stay at Pike's.
Oh, Sunday roast and a stay at Pike's. Or chicken pitta and Patrick Nazemi
at Ibiza Rocks Bar.
What is Patrick Nazemi doing?
Let's say he's having a pitta with you and also DJing that night.
I like that. Well, this is a question for you because you are numero uno fan of Patrick Nazemi.
I am a full-on fanboy, which is why Lorna, thank you Lorna, this is why
I'm
Lorna
getting questions in right now.
I'm sure this is why she sent this question through.
Lorna, what a message.
Oh, can I not take Patrick Nazemi to the Sunday roast?
Loophole. Where are you? No one said you were... Hold on, what? Did it say at Ibiza Rocks Bar?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, do you know what, though?
Choose. Gun to your head. Choose.
Ibiza Rocks Bar with Patrick Nazemi.
Of course.
Do you know what, though? The reason is I'm trying to find a loophole. Pike's is my favourite place, and the roast is better than the chicken pitta. However, it is, and you know that's a fact. However... I am pretty sure after a chicken pitta at Ibiza Rocks with Patrick Nazemi...
You'd probably go to Pike's.
Just go, should we just go to Pike's? And he'd go, course. And we'd go, cool,
loophole.
let's go to Pike's.
That's a good one.
So that's why I'm picking chicken pitta with Patrick Nazemi, because I'm sure I can add Pike's on at the end anyway. Question over to you, love. Good question, Lorna. Thank you.
Questions as things come. But from Ems on Insta, this is direct to you. What's your favourite dinosaur?
Tyrannosaurus Rex. I have one tattooed on my hand.
I didn't realise it was going to be quickfire. Jeez.
But, well, I think I'm going to get deep on this.
Why? Don't start Googling stuff.
No, I'm not. I have a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull tattooed on my hand.
I know what you're going to say.
And it's because it's a it's a cool looking skull and it looks good. And it's like synonymous with dinosaur culture. Let's call it Jurassic Park. However... The best dinosaur is Blue, the Velociraptor. And I'm not entirely ruling out at some point having a Velociraptor tattooed on me at some point.
Shall we get Rory to draw one?
I do want Rory to design me a tattoo, and I think it might need to be a dinosaur.
I'll chat to him.
Thanks, love.
That would be cool. I would probably get it tattooed if he drew a dinosaur.
Next question for you. This one came through from Crookers.
Oh.
And you always know
Cheers to you,
Crookers is great.
Cheers to you.
And after she sent this through, I did say to her, when are you going to come and be a guest on the podcast? And she said, soon, babe, or soon, hun, or whatever it is that
soon, hun.
It'll be soon, hun.
It'll be soon, hun.
Yeah, hurry up. So she said, as you know, sort of the rules in the UK now are that you can only have 6 people together at once. Who would you invite to a dinner party that is 6 people, dead or alive?
Oh, okay, cool.
No, I think we've done like 2 or 3 people before.
Do you have to be there?
No. But
so that opens up a space.
It does.
Okay.
So I'm guessing you take a space here. You can't invite 6 people, so you've got 5.
I would have you there for moral support.
Thank you. So you've got 4.
And then I've got 4. Robert Downey Jr., Tim Minchin, Helena Bonham Carter, and Rory. I'd take... What a mix.
That's a good mix.
I actually think Rory already knows Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah,
There's
they
a story
are familiar
there.
with each other.
Yeah, done. That was quick.
That was quick. Well done.
What about you?
Nuno.
Right.
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. Yours is very
Russell Brand.
Yours is a very... Oh, I would bring Russell Brand, but can I take him from like 10 years ago?
No, I'd take him from any one of his chapters in life.
What, this one?
Yeah, I love all the hippie... Yeah.
No, I'd take him from Getting to the Greek vibes.
Nuno, Ricky Gervais, Russell Brand, and Connor Cody. Those are my 4. And you.
Oh, I get to come.
Yeah, you get to come.
I'm the only female at that
Connor
table.
Cody is the Wolves captain, and he's basically there so Nuno's got someone to talk to.
So I'm the only female at that table.
Do you really care?
No,
You went Robert Downey Jr., Tim Minchin,
Helena Bonham Carter.
So you invited one woman, and I've invited one woman.
Oh.
I've invited. Yeah, you're the one woman.
The one woman.
The wife.
Fun. Yeah, so I'm only 1 out of 6, where I would be 2 out of 6 in my table.
2 out of 6 women.
No, there would be 2 women out of 6 people at my table. There'd only be 1 woman out of 6 people at your table.
Whatever.
That's a good question, though. I like that.
Do you know what, though? As soon as, literally at this very moment in time, I'm now feeling
Debating me.
I'm debating just basically swapping you out for John McGovern.
Another woman.
And the other woman in my life.
I'm going to get a message off of him.
Yeah, you are.
My go?
Yeah.
What is the most... Rewind.
Oh, do that all again, love.
What is the most spontaneous thing you have ever done? This is from what Shez said on Insta, who asks this question quite often. Spontaneous.
It's probably gonna have to be. It's gonna be one of my trips somewhere. It's either gonna be, fuck it, I'm going to Ibiza.
Fuck it, you're going back to Ibiza.
Either the first or the second time. Then there was the, shall we move to the UAE? Shall we just do it? Shall we just do it? And then there was the, shall we move to Ibiza? None of them, I would say, were hugely spontaneous because they require a fair bit of thinking before you just, fuck it, let's just go.
But I think that, that's a big life decision. But also, I think especially when moving to the UAE, I felt that was a decision that wasn't really thought through fully.
No, not in comparison. In comparison to how much we'd think it through now.
Well, comparison to how much we thought about moving to here, yes, like that
the
now
UAE
feels
one
really
was
spontaneous.
The UAE one was the opportunities come up.
I think
I'm just going to apply. Shall we just go?
Yeah.
And then there was a long sort of like interview process to sort of get there and stuff. But actually, I don't think either of us thought at any point it was going to be a, yes, we want you in the UAE. So then when that happened, it was sort of like oh shit, we ought to make a decision. And we went, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, that was quite spontaneous. I think your most spontaneous, though, would probably be Ibiza.
The second time or the first time?
The first.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly long between being asked, do you want to come over and sort of meet me from my friend Adam?
Yeah.
And going, yeah, fuck it, I'll just go.
There you go.
That's the most spontaneous
thing. What have you got left? Because the vegan has just sent through 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. The fourth one we're not going to talk about.
I'm going to put them all out to you. That's all that I have.
Do you have anything else?
No.
Oh, okay, fine.
So literally, as we record right now, John McGovern, who I've just replaced I've just replaced you with at my dinner party.
Yes.
For both of you, when's the last time you had a crumpet?
I probably bought them on a whim sometime in Dubai when I was like feeling British.
It's the sort of thing you can only get from Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah, when I went to Marks and Spencer's, I probably bought crumpets, scones, and clotted cream, and like that was the day. Oh, I know when it was.
Excuse me.
It was Christmas. I bought Christmas tree shaped crumpets, and it was one of your days for your advent calendar.
It was. So that is probably the last time we both.
Was it last Christmas?
Yeah, would have been.
Yeah, last Christmas. Christmas tree shaped crumpets.
If you hadn't reminded me of that, I was immediately just going to go to at some point at my mum's house. I associate crumpets with my mum's house.
Or hot cross buns and bacon.
She loves and cheese. She loves a hot cross bun with cheese on it.
I don't think cheese is. I don't like the cheese thing, but I do like the bacon. It's the sweet and savoury thing.
What's your favourite thing on a crumpet?
Butter. You don't put anything else on a crumpet.
I like jam on a crumpet.
Well, you like jam on everything. No, butter. I don't really like crumpets. I'd choose other things over crumpets. Like a bagel. More dense. More carbs.
You're dense. Next question from the vegan.
Do you even like... Yeah, see, he said, do you even like them? I don't.
What's your favourite supermarket branded snack?
Do you know what? I like a Tesco custard cream. I'm okay with biscuits. Well, obviously a bourbon, they're my favourite.
Yep.
If you want to get fancy, then you can go, you can get Waitrose biscuits.
Yeah, which are probably better than the branded ones anyway.
Yeah. And we were used to that a lot in Dubai. Because we didn't have Tesco's and Lidl and stuff. But like, I'm happy with anything. I like.
If it's a snack, you'll eat it.
Biscuits and sweet. Oh, Tesco strawberry laces. Tesco white chocolate buttons.
Oh, you've got us started now. I know it's not a snack, but I am once again, for the second time this podcast, I am reminiscing back to my university days. Asda's own vodka was
White Spirit.
Was basically White Spirit. It was fucking awful, but did the job. So
and it's super cheap.
A third question from John McGovern. Are you setting any goals for 2021? If so, how high on the list is visiting me?
In Canada.
Well, that's where he lives.
We said we wanted to go in January or February, right?
We'd like to go in the winter when there's still snow there, because they're sort of famous for their snow, and you want to go and do some skiing.
Yes, and I do really want to go. It depends on COVID restrictions. But if we can get there, then yes. I just don't want to go through a massive issue of getting there. You know, I don't want it to be like really complicated, or I've not had a COVID test yet, and I don't really want one.
No, I'm with you. At this point, there's plenty of places that I want to visit and I want to travel to, including Canada, and you are high on the priority list.
We're even debating going back to the UK at this point. Simple things like that.
But this is the thing. I don't want to go anywhere until I can do it and enjoy it.
Yes.
I don't want to go somewhere and be paranoid all the way up to going there, and then the whole time that I'm there, also paranoid about whether I can get back.
Yeah, because also as well, if there's laws in place where you have to wait, again, like wearing your mask everywhere, certain number of people at tables, things like this, that and the other, it's just like, it's a bit of effort. I'd rather go and enjoy it, because it's going to be a lot of money, obviously. It's a big investment. So do it when it's going to be the most enjoyable. But we are aiming for January, February.
Yeah. Hopefully the
Get
world.
ready for us.
Hopefully the world will be in a much better place, and all of us can start to travel just that little bit more freely and that little bit more, openly, happily, so that you can enjoy it and stuff. Yeah. Because I love traveling. I love going to see people and going to places and stuff, but I have no motivation to do it right now. If it's going to be stressful. Yeah.
I have one last question that just came through on Instagram. Go for it. It's from Kelly. So hi, Kelly, new follower. Have you found people welcoming in your community? Have you made new friends easily? If so, how? My family and I are considering moving to Ibiza next year. Nice. And making friends is something that I'm worried about.
Nice. Good question,
Really good
Kelly.
question.
I would say I think we have done even better than I thought that we would, and that I could imagine we could, of sort of fitting in within the community.
Yeah, definitely.
We have made friends here, people that we had never met before. I think a lot of what has helped is that you're very active on like forums and stuff, and we've said before, like best practices is being active in groups or forums and sort of chats and things like that. But also just saying yes when people go, do you want to meet up for a coffee? And going, yes, absolutely. You know,
even if you're not quite feeling it.
Even if you're not feeling it, even if you're like, do I need... Just go and meet people, because you never know who you're going to meet. And we've met some really cool people since we've been here.
Yeah.
And we've also put on barbecues, and people who we haven't known, but they're friends of friends. We've said, oh no, please come along, like come and join in. And now we talk to them as well.
Yeah, we have a good little group.
Yeah, there's a little group.
Maybe need to like combine those kind of groups that we have at the moment.
And so these are people a few weeks ago we didn't even know they existed.
Yeah.
And now we're sort of friends with them in our own right, really, not just like through someone else. Yeah. So my advice would be, and I'm not the best at this, you're much, much better, is just be active on chatting with people and
say yes more.
Responding to people when they message you and go, oh, you're in Ibiza, like, do you want to, like, just go, yes, okay, fine, we'll come
and I
have a
think
drink.
That's going to be a lot easier now we have a car, because I know that some people came over the summer months, July, August, and were like, oh, let's meet up. We're on holiday right now
in San Anne.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, and then like you think, oh, it's a bit difficult to get over there. You've got to get 2 buses or a really expensive taxi, and like we ended up not meeting some of those people, and I feel a little bit guilty for that. But now that we have a vehicle, we can get round and just see people, which I'm looking forward to. So I'm sorry to everybody that we couldn't see in summer when they came over. But when you're back next year, we will be about.
Absolutely. We're not going anywhere, are we?
Nope.
This is where we live.
We live here now.
We've lived here for 10 weeks. 10 weeks today.
Is it really 10 weeks
Oh, sorry, 10 weeks tomorrow.
10 weeks tomorrow.
70 days. That means it's 69 days today. Whoa! We don't have an emoji.
Put the calendar. We've just told them how many days we're here.
Okay, yeah, the calendar, yeah.
Oh,
it's like the white one with the red top, right?
Yeah, yeah.
With I believe it's the number 17 in it.
That's geeky.
Yeah.
I
It's
wish
even
it would
more geeky if I told you why it's 17.
Do you know why?
I do, but I'm going to save that one for next week.
No, tell us now.
No,
tell people the reason they're doing this stupid emoji now. I wish I'd never chosen it.
Send the emoji, and if you want to know why it's the number 17, you'll have to tune in next week.
That's really interesting.
I'm really hoping it's the number 17 now. I'm going to have to check.
It's 1917 right now.
And that's a great film.
That is a great film. I did enjoy that one, actually. No, it's 90. Oh, no, the calendar app shows... Calendar app, that's the wrong thing. Oh, dear. Calendar. It is 17!
Yeah, I thought it was, yeah.
You sound so wise.
Was I saying 17 or was I saying 19?
No, you said 17. I said it's 1917 right now, and then you said 1917.
Anyway,
oh, bloody
can
hell.
you tell that we've drunk a bottle of wine while we're on this podcast?
I hope you've enjoyed this one. We're
yeah,
back
me
on
too.
The wine. I've enjoyed it.
I have. I think it's been quite
a really good one.
Been a mixture of us talking about some, some proper stuff, but also great questions coming through from people.
Really good. Please keep the Please keep the questions coming because it obviously fills out the stuff in the pod.
Yeah, it gives us something to talk to each other about.
Yes.
That's basically
Hold on, was there something that we were talking about before and I said stop talking about that, we're going to talk about it on the podcast? There was, and I can't remember what it was. You were like, you were really strongly feeling about it. Oh no.
If you don't remember what it is now, this is a shit ending to a podcast.
Well, we can cut it if you need to, but it doesn't matter. That means there'll be something good for next week because as soon as we close this off, I'll be like, and then we'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sticking with us, and thank you for those who have been very supportive of whether we do or do not have a bottle of wine. Hopefully you agree these are better.
I think so.
I think so.
Watermelon slushes suck.
All right, well, on that note, we will see you next week. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're doing your reviews. There is a bottle of wine up for grabs. We haven't talked about it. We will.
But we'll leave it this week.
And yeah.
Review us. Bye.
Bye.